With the ongoing streaming wars, every company has been trying to get the Academy Award for Best Picture. It's a so-called symbol that the streaming service not only has a lot of content, but the best content. Sure, you might say most general audiences don't care about the Oscars, but it's pretty cool that so many movies from streaming services have gained some kind of awards recognition. This year, Coda, a film that features primarily deaf actors, won Best Picture. It's surprising that Netflix wasn't the first company to win the ever so coveted title of being the first streaming service with a Best Picture winner, but overall, I think the conversation's more going to be about, does Coda deserve it over the other films from 2021? Coda, which stands for Child of Deaf Adults, stars Emilia Jones as Ruby, the daughter of deaf parents who also has a deaf brother, and Ruby has to be the translator, from the business interactions to the awkward doctor visits. This makes her life extremely busy, especially as a high school student who's recently taken on choir, as she's an aspirational singer, and the eccentric but strict choir teacher, played by Eugenio Derbez, attempts to coach her. From the outside, Coda is the inspirational movie of the week with relatable themes and family drama, but with an often overlooked community at the center. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing that makes this stand out from what you've seen from these types of movies before, except for the deaf actors. To be fair, that is a big deal. It's the feel-good type of movie my mom would like, which makes sense because she's the one who requested this review. And it is a good movie. The actors do a good job expressing their emotions, and the use of subtitles doesn't distract from the excellent performances. In fact, for whatever reason, when I was streaming this, my subtitles weren't turned on. I just assumed they'd automatically be turned on if a majority of audiences can't read American Sign Language, so when it lacked subtitles, I thought they were doing the same thing Spielberg did with West Side Story, which also lacked subtitles for the Spanish language scenes. The actors were enough, but at a certain point I realized I could turn on the subtitles. But my overall point is that the drama and humor works regardless. Actually, I think this may be the first Best Picture winner with a fart joke. The only deaf actor I had any knowledge of is Marlee Matlin, who I grew up with on My Name is Earl. She's terrific as always, but the real scene stealer is Troy Kotsur as Frank, the father. His demeanor, facial expressions, and occasional humor makes for a well-rounded character, easily winning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. This is one of the few Oscar dramas where the parents actually have a good relationship. Instead, the drama is central to their relationship with their hearing child, Ruby. The dynamic is different from what we've seen before, but deals with a lot of the same issues most parents and children have encountered. The parents don't want her traveling too far for college, they want her to pick a safe career path, and since they own a business, they expect Ruby would want to stay a part of it, rather than go her own way. There's an extra level of weight to it all because the parents need Ruby a lot more than she needs them, which is quite a reversal from children being usually dependent on their parents. Her mom and dad straight up expect Ruby to be the translator, and honestly, I'm not sure what the right answer is. They show the ongoing economic hardships the fishing companies are having, and how being deaf without the translator could cause them to lose their license. As much as I'm rooting for Ruby to make her dreams come true, I can't help but feel she's being selfish for technical reasons, but I also feel that the parents are expecting too much out of Ruby's life. Once again, like I mentioned in my Mitchells vs. the Machines review, these younger filmmakers are bringing much more nuance to family circumstances and disagreements, which makes these somewhat repetitive stories more unique. Also, I wouldn't be a good Minnesota native without mentioning Daniel Durant, who grew up in my area of Duluth, Minnesota. He plays Ruby's brother and is just as great to watch as the parents, showing the youth and intensity of the deaf community while having his own charm and sweetness. He is, just as much as Ruby, wanting to live life his own way. I also appreciate that the experience of the deaf community is shown throughout, especially their interactions with hearing people and how they differentiate, and some things hearing people may not know even exist, such as their morning alarm, which happens to be a flashing bright light. There's also humorous bits that work well, like the choir teacher accidentally cursing in American Sign Language, or the doctor needing Ruby to translate to her parents that they can't have sex, and later she can clearly hear them having sex in the house. They're loud, but why would they care? And while this follows a lot of the traditional inspirational tropes, I do think the ending works well. It parallels an earlier scene when the family attends a choir concert. Everyone's clapping along and enjoying themselves, but then the movie goes silent as we share the experience with the deaf family. Since the show lacks visuals, there's not much for the family to appreciate. Regardless, they sneak into Ruby's final audition for college. She's singing a song, and when she sees her family, she starts performing the sign language as well. It's so damn sappy, but dang it, I love it. The only complaint I can think of is, while this is a chance for the deaf community to reach a large audience, it's unfortunate that some of the American Sign Language is performed off-screen. I understand that this is cinema, so visuals and different angles are expected during dialogue scenes, but if you want the deaf community to appreciate this beyond the subtitles, I think keeping the camera on their hands just a little longer would have been nice. Still, it's a lovely little movie. It's unfortunate that its legacy may become a circumstance where most people complain that a movie no one saw won Best Picture, or that something else should have won. I've already seen a lot of that online, and while the Academy Awards were already overshadowed by an extremely stupid celebrity slap, I hope people understand that this movie is easy to find and watch, and would easily work for the general audiences. This wasn't my pick for Best Picture. I wanted either The Power of the Dog or Licorice Pizza, but even those movies wouldn't be as popular amongst the movie-going public. This is probably the biggest crowd pleaser to win Best Picture in quite a few years, and its legacy should be about the importance of deaf characters on the screen. I mentioned earlier the only deaf actor I had any knowledge of was Marlee Matlin. She won Best Actress in 1986 for the film Children of a Lesser God. It's been 35 years since that was released, and while it's super cool she's in Coda as well, I think it shows just how underrepresented the deaf community is in film and television. There hasn't been another Oscar contender with primarily deaf actors since 1986. There might have been a few things that came in other categories, but as far as the Best Picture category and the Best Actor category goes, there's been these two, and that's it. But things are improving. We've seen deaf actors in Hawkeye, Only Murders in the Building, and Netflix's You. So if you haven't seen this one yet, give this crowd pleaser a chance. Thanks for watching the video, and special shout out to Lauren, Anthony, Anna, Kirsten, Spencer, Lucas, Ryan, and Robert for supporting me on Patreon. By joining my Patreon, you can get exclusive blogs and videos, and for just $7, you can get your own monthly movie review. I hope you stick around, cinephile, and have a happy, productive day.